Part 63. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 661. You can search for Pirate Plant Fruit popular in Baidu to find the latest chapters. In the port of Magic Valley City, Gaia Island. Sanji, Robin, Nami, Chopper, and many other members of the Saru Mountain Alliance continued to take refuge deep into the city. At the port, most of the giant offshore docks have sunk, and even the sinking hull has filled a large sea area near the port. On the new Vicky Bello and the guards 1 and 2, everyone in the Bellamy Pirates was still immersed in the hallucination. But everything will eventually return to normal. After a continuous psychedelic state, Bellamy and his crew have returned to normal. What happened? What were we doing just now? What on earth is going on? What happened to us just now? By the way, a big mushroom flew over before. Just now, it seemed as if I had entered a dream world. On the deck of the new Vicky Bello, many crew members of the Bellamy Pirates returned to normal and found it difficult to understand what they had just done. Bellamy also returned to normal. What the hell was I doing just now? Bellamy said in shock. Everything Bellamy experienced just now seemed like a dream, but now it is all shattered and returned to reality. Bellamy looked around, and the crew including Eddie had just woken up from the hallucinations. Damn it, looks like we've been made like this by that weird mushroom. These must be the work of the plant manipulating kid. Bellamy said with an ugly face. Bellamy was very impressed with Rog. He knew that Rog could manipulate plants and had amazing fighting power. But things had reached this point, and it was useless for Bellamy to get angry. Bellamy looked at the sunken huge sea dock. This behemoth sank here in the port. Because the hull was too huge, even after sinking to the bottom of the sea, a considerable part was still exposed on the sea surface. His eyes turned to the sea again, only to see that Guard No was severely injured and half submerged in the sea. And Guard No disappeared without a trace. The ghost was sunk by his side before his own eyes. Bellamy himself knows how much the Bellamy Pirates fleet has lost. Our losses this time are also huge. Bellamy said with emotion. This time the Bellamy Pirates also suffered heavy losses. On the deck of Guard No next to the Bello in New York. Hey, what are we doing? Both Sakis and Lily woke up from their hallucinations. What did we do? Is this all the effect of the mushroom just now? It's really unbelievable. After sobering up, many crew members could hardly believe what they had just done. Of the 6 main warships of the Bellamy Pirates, 2 were lost and 1 was seriously injured. The only heavy submarine, the Phantom, was killed in the sea. Guard and the crew transferred by Guard were turned into fly ash in the explosion, and Guard was severely damaged. The loss of this powerful pirate fleet is also close to half of the country. On the deck of the new Vicky Bello, Bellamy gritted his teeth angrily and said, I will cut them all into pieces. In the sea area south of Magic Valley City, Rog, Saran, and Mont Blanc took small boats propelled by propeller banana leaves and sailed continuously toward the vicinity of Magic Valley City. However, in order to avoid direct contact with the Bellamy Pirates, the small ship headed towards the coast south of Magic Valley City. After sailing for a while, they finally arrived at the coastal area south of Magic Valley City. Here, Rog and Montblanc both landed. A total of 9 people including Rog, Zoro, Luffy, Usopp, the goddess of the spring, the king of ninjas, Momlan Kulik, the orangutan, and the orangutan stood on the land of Gaia Island again. Okay, it's finally back again. Usopp breathed the air here and said. Alright, let's join Sanji and the others. Luffy said excitedly. Wait, I'll contact Sanji first. Roger uses the phone bug to start contacting Sanji and the others. After being contacted by the phone bug, it was known that Sanji, Nami, and many members of the Saruyama United Army took refuge in the city. Rog, Mont Blanc, and the others quickly headed to the Demon Valley City to meet up with Sanji and Nami. In the urban area of Magic Valley City, A large number of members of the Ape Mountain United Army rest here. Sanji, Nami, Robin, and Chopper are also resting in the city. Although the nearly 500 people who survived did not carry much luggage, they did bring a lot of gold and money, which allowed them to buy various needed goods in the city. Those members of the Saruyama United Army naturally distributed a large amount of gold and money to Sanji and Nami. Please help them buy the needed supplies together. Nami is naturally very happy about this kind of thing. She doesn't agree with others paying for her. Sanji also needs something, and he is willing to purchase it. Chopper has always guarded Robin. However, the forces of the Bellamy pirates have infiltrated this bustling transit port city in large quantities, and the actions of the members of the Aruyama United Army have also been clearly observed. Inside the headquarters building of the Magic Valley City Security Force, the commander of the guard force received information in his office. Why did you say that hundreds of members of the Saruyama United Army entered the city? The guard commander said in shock. Yes, because they were defeated by the fleet of our Bellamy pirates and were forced to retreat to the city. We have thoroughly investigated the current situation. Therefore, commander of the guard force, please quickly mobilize the main force to eliminate them. The phone bug said across the board. The commander of the guard force held a microphone in his hand. His face was very serious. He was notified of this call just now by an intelligence officer belonging to the Bellamy pirates. The other party's instructions are the will of the Bellamy pirates. Obviously, the Bellamy pirates now require the Demon Valley City Guard force to attack and eliminate hundreds of members of the Saruyama United Army who have retreated to the city. However, I need to emphasize it first. After all, we are not a security force. It is difficult to say that we can successfully eliminate those people from the Sarushan United Army. The guard commander said in a serious tone. It doesn't matter, as long as you do your best. And the combat effectiveness of the hundreds of Saruyama United Army will definitely be greatly reduced after retreating, so you should have no problem as long as you concentrate your troops. The phone bug said across the board. The commander of the guard force realized that there was no way to refuse now, otherwise he would face disaster. Okay, we will concentrate our forces to eliminate them, said the commander of the guard force. Pirate Plant Fruit. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 662. You can search for Pirate Plant Fruit popular in Baidu to find the latest chapters. Okay, I wish you success. The phone bug said across the board. The two parties then ended the call. The guard commander looked out the window, from which he could see the city. In this office, there are two senior military officers. Commander, do we really need to deal with those powerful enemies now? Asked a senior officer. The commander of the guard force looked at him, sighed and said, there is no way, since we have all been conquered by Bellamy. How can we refuse? And the combat effectiveness of the retreating Saru Mountain United Army may not be very strong. We might as well give it a try. Is this really possible? How many troops do we need to concentrate? Asked another senior officer. The guard force now has more than people. According to my calculations, it can be flexibly mobilized to people. Okay, now the 1st Guard Regiment, the 2nd Guard Regiment, and the 3rd Guard Regiment of the Guard Force are mobilized to participate in the battle. The defeated forces of the Aruyama United Army were wiped out. The commander of the Guard Force quickly gave instructions. Obey. The two senior officers said in unison. In the urban area of Magic Valley City, Sanji, Nami, and many other members of the Saruyama Alliance gathered in the street to rest. There are still many local people in this urban area, and many of them admire the Aruyama United Army's heroic fight against the Grandet forces. At this time, they took the initiative to contact the Aruyama United Army. There are even some people who take the initiative to give various materials needed by the Ape Mountain United Army. There are also many people who come to observe the members of the Sarushan United Army out of curiosity. Next to the Bigelow Hotel at the entrance of a street, a large number of people from the Ape Mountain United Army rested here. In the restaurant on the first floor of the hotel, Sanji, Nami, Robin, and Chopper eat and rest here together. I didn't expect the people here to be so enthusiastic. Chopper said while eating the cake. Welcome us as if seeing a hero. Nami drank the juice and said. The people here are very friendly. Robin said calmly. Sanji is drinking a cup of black tea while munching on cookies. It seems that the reputation of the Ape Mountain United Army is quite good here. These local residents are still welcoming us. Sanji said. Nami asked Sanji again, by the way, Sanji. Roger and the others will be here soon. After contacting just now, they said that they have already landed. They are speeding up to meet here. Sanji said. Everyone, please come together quickly. After all, we still face powerful enemies like the Bellamy pirates. Nami said. Don't worry, I'm still here. The knight will protect the lady. Sanji said proudly. The 4 members of the Straw Hat Pirates and nearly members of the Saruyama Alliance gathered near the area with this hotel as the core. While everyone was resting in this area, a large number of heavily armed security forces secretly began to surround this area. In this battle, the commander of the guard force personally led senior officers and a large force of people to carry out encirclement and suppression. The commander of the guard, riding on a tall horse, commanded the battle with a large entourage of senior officers. Okay, the investigation of the situation has been completed. So the participating troops quickly surrounded the area around the Bigelow Hotel. The enemy is hiding here. The commander of the guards on horseback gave the order. The security forces from all walks of life acted quickly. These security forces originally knew the urban area of the Magic Valley City like the back of their hands, and they quickly surrounded the area around the Bigelow Hotel. 3,000 guards set up machine guns and placed grenade guns on the top of nearby buildings. Fortifications were quickly piled up with sandbags on the nearby streets, and a large number of officers and soldiers were on guard. The guards quickly formed a strong pocket around the Bigelow Hotel. No one can easily rush out of here. The security forces were quickly deployed and began to send small teams tentatively towards the Bigelow Hotel. The vanguard of 200 men arrived in front of the Bigelow Hotel. An officer began blasting the hotel with a loudspeaker to persuade it to surrender. The remnants of the Yuanshan United Army, the guards of Magic Valley City have surrounded you now, and I advise you to surrender immediately, otherwise the consequences will be very serious. The current situation does not allow you to have a choice, and the only way to be punished lightly is to surrender. At this time, everyone in the Bigelow Hotel heard the officer's voice to persuade him to surrender. Sanji and the others among Nami and the restaurant on the first floor also heard this sound. What security force? Sanji frowned. Could it be that the security force of Grandet's forces? Robin said suddenly. Yes, Mont Blanc and the others once said that in Magic Valley City, in addition to the security forces, there are also security forces. In addition to the security forces, there is another major armed force under the Grandet Force. But it seems to be specifically responsible for law and order. Nami also remembered and said. Guard troops, but Grandet is already dead. Why are they still attacking us? Chopper said doubtfully. There is only one explanation for this kind of thing, and that is that Bellamy took the opportunity to manage to control these remnants of the original Grandet. Sanji said with a solemn face. They move so fast. Nami said in shock. No matter what, another bloody battle is about to start. But don't worry, I think these guards are definitely not as strong as the security forces. Sanji quickly comforted him. Makes sense. Nami said with a sigh of relief. The Law and Order Army is the real powerful regular army in Magic Valley City, and the guards cannot have the combat effectiveness of the law and order army. The gap between the security force and the security force is like the gap between the navy and the enemy's police force. But the other members of the Saruyama United Army in the restaurant were all friars. How could this happen? Isn't Grandet already dead? The security forces have been severely defeated, but these security forces still dare to come and fight us. I'm really tired of living. Just go out and kill them. Walk. Before Sanji and the others could take action, the members of the Saruyama alliance in the Bigelow Hotel all wanted to fight the security forces. Outside the gate of the Bigelow Hotel, the officer who used a loudspeaker to persuade them to surrender continued to speak. You guys come out quickly. Boom. Suddenly there was a gunshot, and a bullet hit the officer in the center of his forehead, and his body quickly fell backwards. The expression when he died was still in disbelief, and the eyes were about to protrude. A tall, thin man walked out of the Bigelow Hotel with a pistol in his hand. White smoke continued to emit from the muzzle of the pistol. Pirate Plant Fruit. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 663. You can search for Pirate Plant Fruit popular in Baidu to find the latest chapters. Call. The tall, thin man blew away the white smoke from the muzzle of the pistol with his mouth. He had just shot and killed the guard officer who persuaded him to surrender. You mean surrender, right? Unfortunately, that's impossible. The tall and thin man looked at the officer of the guard force lying dead on the ground and said. The other guard officers and soldiers quickly raised their rifles and pistols and aimed at the tall and thin man. But there was no timidity in the eyes of this tall and thin man, but a high-spirited fighting spirit. All right. The tall, thin man said something. Quickly, a swarm of grenades were thrown out of the windows on the upper floors of the Bigelow Hotel. Boom, 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 boom. The guardsmen in front of the Bigelow Hotel were blown up by grenades and turned upside down. What? Oh. Crap. The screams and explosions intersected very loudly. After these grenades exploded, there were swarms of gunshots again. The bullets hit the surviving guard officers and soldiers, sending them to the west. Members of the Saruyama Alliance fired bullets from the windows on the upper floors of the Bigelow Hotel toward the ground below. In addition, a large number of members of the Ape Mountain United Army came out from the gate of the Bigelow Hotel, and used their guns to shoot at the remaining guard officers and soldiers for a while. After being ravaged by grenades and bullets, the 200 officers and soldiers of the guard force were all dead on the ground. After the battle, Sanji also came out to observe the situation. His eyes quickly scanned the corpses on the ground. He didn't even need to make a move in this level of battle just now. Sanji looked at the surrounding streets and urban areas. According to common sense, since a large number of guards appeared in front of the Bigelow Hotel, there must also be guards in the surrounding area. Since there are security forces attacking this hotel, there must be many enemies in the surrounding city. Sanji said. Immediately, members of the Sarushan United Army discovered the presence of guard troops on top of nearby buildings. Look, there are enemies moving around in the building. Sanji and others took a closer look and saw some guard troops ambushing them on top of several surrounding buildings. In battle, to occupy the commanding heights is to be able to gain an advantage in battle. The guard, of course, posted troops on top of some of the buildings near the Bigelow Hotel. They set up their machine guns and grenade guns and took aim here in front of the Bigelow Hotel. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Boom 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 boom. Machine guns and grenade guns fired, and dense bullets and grenades shot towards the front of the Bigelow Hotel. Soon, members of the Aruyama United Army were shot and fell to the ground, and some were hit by grenades and were blown to pieces. It looks like there are quite a few of these guys. Sanji looked at the guards on top of those buildings and said. The Yuanshan Allied forces suffered heavy casualties and were forced to return to the Bigelow Hotel. Sanji also withdrew to the hotel. After Sanji withdrew to the hotel, Nami was already very anxious. How is it outside? Nami asked Sanji. There are some enemies, but don't worry. I'll kill them all. Sanji said. It's hard to avoid fighting no matter where you go. Chopper sighed. The members of the Ape Mountain United Army in the Bigelow Hotel were even more excited. The guards actually dared to fight us and kill them. It is good. The members of the Saruyama United Army quickly started fighting. Although the security force has a lot of people, their combat effectiveness is more than one level higher than that of the security forces. In addition to training and combat quality, they are even more lacking in heavy weapons. Basically a police force. Although many security forces are entrenched on the top of nearby buildings, the Bigelow Hotel also has a roof. Moreover, the Bigelow Hotel has 10 floors, which is taller than most of the surrounding buildings, which are only 5 or 6 floors high. A large number of members of the Sarusama United Army with excellent marksmanship gathered on the roof of the Bigelow Hotel. They began to use rifles to shoot at the tops of surrounding buildings. Bang 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 bang. Bullets were fired from above the roof of the Bigelow Hotel. Guards on the roofs of some nearby buildings were shot by bullets and killed on the spot. Many vital machine gun and grenade gun crews were killed. The guards on the top of nearby buildings were quickly cleared. In this way, the firepower in this area soon turned out to be the upper hand of the Aruyama United Army. On the roof of the Bigelow Hotel, dozens of members of the Ape Mountain United Army with excellent marksmanship gathered, and they shot a guard officer and soldier ambushing in the street with a rifle. The weapons of these guards officers and soldiers are only equipped with rifles, shotguns, and sabers. The heavy weapons are only machine guns and grenade guns. There are almost no individual protective gear, such as the kind of chest and abdominal steel protective gear and protection that the security army is equipped with in large quantities. Almost all of them don't have helmets on their heads. It can be said that it is surprisingly easy for the Aruyama United Army, which has been fighting against powerful enemies like the security forces for many years, to fight these security forces. It is very easy to fight against a powerful enemy for a long time, and then suddenly fight against a weak enemy. After the sharpshooters of the Ape Mountain United Army on the roof of the Bigelow Hotel successfully suppressed the guards, others also began to attack. In some nearby streets, a large number of guards piled up sandbags, set up machine guns and grenade guns and concentrated at the intersection to block. Sanji arrived at a street at this time, and saw a large number of security forces stacked with a large number of sandbags to guard the place. How are we going to beat these guys? Sanji thought about ways to deal with these enemies. But just now he knocked down some guards, and those guards still had some weapons on them. A light flashed in Sanji's head. He quickly went to the downed guards to retrieve the grenades. Sanji collected more than 30 long-handled fuse grenades. Sanji tied these long-handled fuse grenades into 6 bundles with rope, and then prepared to attack. Okay, get ready to enjoy the pain of the explosion. Sanji pulled apart the fuses of a bundle of long-handled fuse grenades. Sis. White smoke rose from the bundle of long-handled fuse grenades. Sanji kicked the bundle of long-handled fuse grenades away with one kick. The bundle of fuse grenades landed behind the sandbags. Boom, 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 boom. A burst of explosions killed a large number of guards. Okay, keep coming. Sanji continued to use the same method to kick away bundles of long-handled lead grenades. Pirate Plant Fruit. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 664. You can search for Pirate Plant Fruit popular in Baidu to find the latest chapters. The guards behind the sandbags were bombarded violently like this. 6 consecutive bundles, a total of more than long-handled fuse grenades, caused heavy casualties to the guards behind the sandbags, and they were turned upside down. Now it's time to attack. Sanji used the confusion the explosion caused to his enemies to charge quickly, and he quickly bolted to the sandbags. Sanji jumped right behind the sandbag, and then he started kicking the enemy with his feet. First meat. Tenderloin. Belly. First class minced meat. Sanji attacked violently for a while, causing a large number of guards to be knocked down. In addition to Sanji, other members of the Saruyama United Army also fought bravely. Casualties continued among the guard troops. While there was such a fierce battle in the city of Demon Valley City, in the southern area of Demon Valley City, Rog, Mont Blanc, and Sauron accelerated towards the Magic Valley City area. Okay, the city is already in sight. Mont Blanc looked at Demon Valley City and said, "It's really fast, but you still need to benefit from Rog's weapon." Usopp said excitedly. At this time, a group of people were riding on a tree. This tree is the Jianma tree created by Rog using the power of plant fruits. The trees are in a horizontal state, and a large number of thick branches grow from the side, which can run quickly on the ground like the legs of a healthy horse. This plant weapon is quite practical. Roger sat at the front of the healthy horse tree and controlled this horse. Although the Jianma tree was transformed from a tree and was relatively long, its running speed was no slower than that of a Jianma. Wow, so cool! Luffy said excitedly, riding on the horse tree. Jianmasha quickly entered the urban area. People in the urban area of Magic Valley City saw this tree running like a horse, their eyes widened in shock, and they looked at this rare and strange plant in the world. Horses like trees. Trees like horses. There is such a plant. Am I dreaming? You can really see everything in this world. The residents in Magic Valley City talked a lot, and they were all shocked. Jianmasha continued to carry everyone forward. After traveling for a while, we finally arrived at the urban area close to the Bigelow Hotel. But here is already the sound of gunshots and explosions. What happened? The orangutan said in surprise. There's a fight here now. Usopp said in surprise. At the same time, he also felt chills down his spine. The battle here seemed to be quite fierce, because many streets in nearby urban areas were littered with corpses. After Mont Blanc looked at these corpses, most of them were wearing the uniforms of the Demon Valley City Guard Force, and a few were members of the Aru Mountain United Army that he knew. It seems that the people we retreated into the city were attacked by the guards of Magic Valley City. Mont Blanc said with a serious face. What Magic Valley City Guard Force? Luffy and Usopp said in surprise. Yes, I also said before that the security forces of Magic Valley City are the most powerful armed forces, but there are also guards similar to the police. This is also one of the pillars of Grandet's forces. Of course, they are inferior to the security forces in terms of combat effectiveness. It's not a star and a half. Mont Blanc said. But isn't Grandet dead? Why are these security forces still enemies of us? Usopp asked. There is only one possibility, and that is that Bellamy recovered these guards. They received Bellamy's order to fight us. Mont Blanc said. I see. Usopp said suddenly. We need a big fight anyway, right? Roger said. Of course. Said the orangutan. It's time to fight again. Luffy clenched his fist excitedly. When it comes to fighting, Luffy is very excited. Oh, I think I have the dismount syndrome. Usopp said seriously. As soon as he found out there was a fight, Usopp would think of various reasons to avoid it. Mont Blanc looked towards the city after the battle. Although the guards don't have heavy weapons, they are still enemies with guns, so even if it's easy to deal with, everyone should pay attention. Mont Blanc said. But everyone still needs to meet up with others first. Roger drove the Kenma tree to the Bigelow Hotel first. After arriving here, Rog and Sauron quickly entered the Bigelow Hotel. Entered the restaurant on the first floor of the hotel. The group joins Nami, Chopper, Robin and the other members of the Saruyama United Army. "Ah, you are finally here," Nami said with relief. After all, Rog and Luffy and Sauron reunited, so that basically any enemy does not have to be afraid. "Everyone is fine," Rog said to Nami and Chopper. "Where's Sanji?" Usopp asked. "Sanji went out to fight the enemy," Chopper said. "It's inevitable that he won't be able to stay idle," Usopp said. Chopper looked at Zoro and Mont Blanc again. "I saw that Sauron's right shoulder and Mont Blanc's right arm were full of blood, and had only been briefly bandaged. What's the matter with your injuries?" Chopper said with a surprised face. "Ah, I'm a little injured," Sauron said calmly. "Dr. Chopper, please help me treat it," Mont Blanc said. Chopper quickly helped Zoro and Mont Blanc with treatment. After undoing the temporary bandage, Chopper was shocked when he saw the wound. "You are so seriously injured and still holding on, do you know how serious this is?" Chopper said with a serious face. "Fortunately, it's not about harm," Mont Blanc said. "The arm is not a critical area. Although it is not a critical area like the head, chest, and abdomen, it would be awkward if a person lacked an arm," Chopper said. Rog saw that things were settled again here and said, "Okay, since there are enemies, I want to go out and fight." "Who else wants to go?" "I go," Luffy said excitedly. "Of course I'll go too," said the ape. "I also want to participate in the battle," said the orangutan. Mont Blanc originally wanted to participate in the battle, but due to emergency treatment of his wounds, he was unable to participate. "It's a pity that I can't take command now," Mont Blanc said regretfully. "Boss, you can concentrate on receiving treatment," the gorilla said to him. "Boss, the presence of our two deputy commanders is enough to command the brothers to fight," the orangutan said with confidence. Pirate Plant Fruit. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 665. You can search for Pirate Plant Fruit popular in Baidu to find the latest chapters. "Okay, it's over to you," said Mont Blanc to the apes and orangutans. "Don't worry, boss," the orangutan and the orangutan said in unison. Rog looked at the Straw Hat Pirates again, and Luffy decided to fight, which is no problem. Sauron was unable to go out to fight because he needed to receive treatment. Needless to say, Chopper, he can't finish treating others. Usopp must have suffered from the disease that prevents him from participating in the battle. Nami is also not fit to fight. Robin's serious injury has not yet healed. The goddess of the fountain does not seem to want to go to war. "Count me in," the Ninja King said suddenly. Rog looked at the Ninja King and said, "Okay, that's enough." Rog, Luffy and the King of Ninja are going out to join the battle, and the apes and orangutans are also joining the battle. However, the apes and orangutans are more inclined to semi-command operations. After all, there are hundreds of core members of the Ape Mountain United Army here. Rog, Luffy, and the King of Ninjas can let go as much as they want, killing and torturing enemies. After Rog and the others walked out of the Bigelow Hotel together, they looked at the surrounding urban areas that were in a state of battle. "Okay, let's kill them," Roger said with high spirits. "Kill," Luffy said even more excitedly. Rog took out 3 walnuts, which were naturally rain-fused with the power of plant fruits to become walnut armor. Rog concentrated the power of the plant fruit in his body, and injected it into the 3 walnuts through his hands. The 3 walnuts became the upper body armor, lower body armor, and head armor of the walnut armor. These 3 pieces of walnut armor were all worn on Rog's body. Now Rog's whole body is protected by a walnut armor that is as hard as steel, except for 2 eyes. Rog started to fight in walnut armor. Roger, Luffy, orangutans and apes began to join in this fierce battle. I go first, Luffy said excitedly. Luffy stretched out his hands, using his rubber fruit ability to stretch his arms very long. Luffy's hands grabbed the top of a building and led him over. In addition to wearing walnut armor to enhance his defense, Rog also used the power of plant fruits to transform into a kinkan bamboo spear for hand-to-hand combat. The King of Ninja went straight to the wall and jumped into the battle quickly. The orangutan and the orangutan are in charge of commanding the Ape Mountain Combined Army. The two deputy commanders of the Iruyama United Army personally commanded on the battlefield, which quickly boosted the morale of all the people in the Iruyama Allied Army. Under the fierce attack of the Straw Hat Pirates and the Iruyama United Army, the numerically superior Magic Valley City Guards were quickly defeated. 3,000 guardsmen were defeated by the enemy who totaled less than men. The city areas and streets of this generation were littered with corpses, most of them belonging to officers and soldiers of the guard. The commanders of the security forces and senior officers commanding here on the front line could not sit still. The commander of the guard force riding on a healthy horse looked at his own miserable situation, and he sighed for a while. But this battle had to go on, and if they didn't fight, they would definitely be blamed by Bellamy's forces afterwards. Commander, if we go on like this, our troops will be wiped out, a senior military officer told the commander of the guard force. If this continues, we will indeed suffer heavy losses. But we must try to hold on for a while, said the guard commander. Now we have more than casualties, which is more than a quarter of the troops participating in the suppression. The senior officer added. Okay, then after our casualties exceed 1,000, we can allow our troops to retreat on their own if they cannot withstand it. The commander of the guard force really couldn't stand it anymore and made a new order. If the casualties of the guard troops exceed 1/3, then it can be said that the guard troops are fighting with all their strength. The inability to resist is entirely due to the fact that the enemy is too strong, rather than the guards not working hard. The order was quickly communicated to the troops through the phone bug. The guard force, which had been severely hit, finally got the last straw that broke the camel's back. Rapidly the collapse of the remaining guard forces in the streets and urban areas accelerated. Soon the guards suffered more than 1,000 casualties. The rest of the large number of guards accelerated their route and began to flee from the fighting city. The commander of the guard force and the senior officers will naturally not prevent the retreat of the surviving guard forces. After all, these troops have already fought bloody battles, not to mention that these guard forces are their own property. The battle ended with a complete victory between the Straw Hat Pirates and the Saruyama Alliance. After the battle, everyone gathered in the Bigelow Hotel again. After the war, in addition to treating the injured, it is still necessary to eat a lot to replenish physical strength. In this restaurant, everyone began to have dinner together. It was a fierce battle, said the orangutan, munching on a drumstick. But the enemy is actually weaker than we thought, it's really too vulnerable, Luffy said after swallowing a large piece of bread. It's nothing if you don't fight such an easy-to-handle enemy, Sauron said. He clinked glasses with the King of Ninja and drank with each other. Hey, Zoro. Drink less and watch your wounds, Chopper warned Zoro. It's fortunate that Captain Usopp didn't participate in such a meaningless battle. But you have performed very well, which is really worthy of praise, Usopp said pretendingly. Mont Blanc was thinking about something. Everyone, according to some captured guards officers and soldiers, the guards of Magic Valley City were indeed subdued by the Bellamy forces. So they attacked us in accordance with the orders of the Bellamy pirates, Mont Blanc said. The others looked at him and agreed. If the Bellamy pirates hadn't really mastered the guards of Magic Valley City, it would be impossible for these guards whose combat power is only equivalent to the police to attack them like this. So what do we need to do next, boss? Asked the ape. Our goal is to ensure that Demon Valley City truly has a bright future, so we must win the hearts and minds of the people here. Now that we happen to be in the urban area of Demon Valley City, we can now fully demonstrate our proposition to the residents here. It's time. Mont Blanc said. It's great, we can get extremely high support by the way. The orangutan said excitedly. Okay, this matter is settled. Since we are in Demon Valley City, we can take the opportunity to carry out our operations. Mont Blanc said. After settling down, everyone started to act again. Soon the surviving members of the Aruyama United Army were conducting propaganda throughout the Magic Valley City area. Pirate Plant Fruit. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 666. You can search for Pirate Plant Fruit popular in Baidu to find the latest chapters. At a street intersection, the orangutan stood on a high platform built temporarily with wooden boxes and began to publicize with a loudspeaker. Dear citizens of Demon Valley City, after many years of hard work, the Aruyama United Army successfully overthrew the cruel rule of the Grandet forces. However, the good times did not last long, and the evil forces of the Bellamy pirates quickly penetrated into this bustling city. In the city, they are doing evil and trying to establish a rule even more evil than Grandet. But don't worry, everyone in the Sarushan United Army will fight bravely for the future of this beautiful and prosperous city. The loud voice of the orangutan was so powerful that many local residents of Magic Valley City were watching. Well done Sarasama United Army. I support you, keep working hard. Fight hard. No one can ever try to exploit and rule Demon Valley City again. Fight for freedom. In Magic Valley City, there are many supporters of the Yuanshan United Army, and many of them encouraged the Yuanshan United Army after listening to the propaganda speech. The same is true of many other urban areas. In a square in Magic Valley City, orangutans give publicity speeches here. Everyone, Demon Valley City was about to usher in a new life, but the evil Bellamy pirates took the opportunity to try to seize the fruits of victory. They want to follow Grandet's footsteps and continue to rule and oppress this historic port city. So, the Saruyama United Army represents the oppressed people and resolutely opposes the new evil forces. The Saruyama United Army will continue to fight the Bellamy pirates to the end. The orangutan used his usual singing microphone to give a speech in the square. Inspired by the orangutan's words, the people in the square burst into loud applause. Aruyama United Army, well done. This guerrilla speaks so well. When you encounter oppression, you must fight against it. The Saruyama United Army is truly a representative of freedom. With the Yuanshan United Army, there is hope for Demon Valley City. We should all support the Saruyama United Army. The overwhelming applause from the people in the square, as well as all kinds of admiration, made the orangutan who gave the speech feel unprecedented joy for a while. Since this is the case, let me sing a song for everyone. The orangutan stroked the back of his head and said. The members of the Aruyama United Army who assisted him quickly stopped after hearing this. Deputy Commander Orangutan, please don't. But it was too late, and no one else could stop the orangutan who had a penchant for singing. I am the king of exploration, I am an orangutan, and my singing is invincible. The gigantic singing of the orangutans resounded throughout the square. The people in the square trembled all over, and many people fell directly to the ground, as if they had received some impact. The singing of the orangutan was like a noise bomb, causing hundreds of people to tremble and roll on the ground. At the entrance of the street a while away from the square, Usopp also participated in the propaganda speech offensive. Usopp heard this terrifying singing, he frowned, and said, "What is going on?" But then he climbed onto the simple platform built by the wooden boxes and said, "Okay, Let's start preparations. Usopp picked up a special large horn and put it near his mouth to give a speech. Dear citizens of Demon Valley City, now Captain Usopp from afar begins to tell you about the great deeds of the Sarasama United Army. Usopp started his speech. Afterwards, he was eloquent, his saliva was too late to swallow, and all kinds of unexpected and magical experiences were narrated by Usopp. Different from the loud voices of apes and orangutans, Usopp's speech mobilizes the emotions of other audiences with wonderful stories, making them shocked by those brilliant stories and expressing the heartfelt love of Usopp and the Ape Mountain combined army. Admiration. Many other members of the Ape Mountain United Army also gave speeches in various places in the city of Magic Valley. These publicity speeches had a great effect, and a large number of local people in Demon Valley City watched. Most people resonated greatly. However, the commander-in-chief of the Ape Mountain United Army, Mont Blanc, gave a great speech on Central Avenue, the busiest business district in Magic Valley City. In a Central Avenue, Mont Blanc stood on a high platform built on a pile of wooden boxes. The man with the chestnut on his head started the great speech with a trumpet in his hand. Everyone, Magic Valley City is a great city. After hundreds of years of prosperity and development, this city is well known on the Great Route. People who come here are from all over the world, chasing freedom on the Great Route people. It is because of you that Magic Valley City has become prosperous and developed. It is because of your efforts that more people come here to achieve breakthroughs in life. Yadeo has such a beautiful pearl inlaid on it. Countless people and countless beliefs have reached a tacit understanding. But just like all beautiful things have flaws, Magic Valley City also has people who try to occupy it. But the Saruyama Allied forces stepped forward and wiped out that kind of people. This is how this great city can finally gain new hope. After hearing Mont Blanc's speech, countless people in the business district gathered around and listened to the leader's speech attentively. Mont Blanc's voice is both powerful and ups and downs, with a kind of magnetism that makes people feel friendly and convincing. Unlike other people's fanaticism and sensationalism, this leader's words are enough to make people feel a kind of admiration from the bottom of their hearts. However, those who are trying to occupy this great city have new forces. Not only are they more brutal and cruel than the oppressors of the past, but their actions are even more absurd. Once Demon Valley City falls into their hands, the people here will become even more miserable than slaves. Therefore, resistance must be carried out. Everyone in the Sarushan United Army will rush to the front, fight hard, throw their heads, and shed blood for the hope of this great city tomorrow. Remember one sentence: the Aruyama United Army will be with everyone in Demon Valley City. Mont Blanc's speech produced a great response. The hundreds of people watching quickly applauded. Their faces are full of reverence. Many people also know that the people of Mont Blanc and the Sarushan United Army fought hard for the people of Demon Valley City to fight against oppression. Everyone was impressed by the leader's resolute face, burly body, and the seemingly weird chestnut on the top of his head. Over the years, Grandet's plundering and domineering have made many people here numb. But Mont Blanc's speech rekindled in them the fighting spirit that was unwilling to be oppressed. Pirate Plant Fruit. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 667. You can search for Pirate Plant Fruit popular in Baidu to find the latest chapters. Mont Blanc took a deep breath. Everyone, Grandet has been defeated, but Bellamy wants to take over this place. Can he succeed? Mont Blanc said loudly in a rich voice. Cannot. There was an overwhelming sound. This is really a cry from everyone's heart. Rog and Sanji were also present. Seeing Mont Blanc's speech, Rog and the others had to admit that he was indeed a master of public speaking. What an emotional speech! Sanji said. Mont Blanc is indeed a genius leader. Roger said. The publicity speeches given by Mont Blanc, Orangutan in the Magic Valley City area played a great role. Although the original Grandet forces in Magic Valley City were quickly subdued by the Bellamy pirates, after all, it is difficult for a mere pirate group to really gain a foothold here. Moreover, the guards were severely damaged in the previous battle, which made Magic Valley City even more anarchic. Now the Yuanshan United Army has quickly won the hearts of the people in Magic Valley City through a series of propaganda offensives. The Bellamy pirates, a force that relies on speculation and force, cannot really gain a foothold in Magic Valley City. In the port area of Magic Valley City. Although the Bellamy pirates' fleet successfully sank the giant sea dock Simeon Mountain Union. But they also lost a lot. Not to mention the heavy submarine Ghost and Guard 4, it can be said that they were completely lost in the sea. Guard No was also severely damaged, and was supported by Guard No at the stern in order to pull it back to the reef island in the northeast waters of Gaia Island for repairs. The Bellamy pirates' fleet first returned to the reef island in the northeastern sea of Gaia Island. In the port of the reef island, the new Vicky Bello and the guardsmen are moored here. Guard No is also moored at a farther pier, but it is undergoing emergency repairs. On the majestic castle on the reef island, a huge pirate flag with a toothy smile and a slash fluttered in the wind. At this time the sky has become dark. There are very few stars in the sky today, and the moon is also covered by dark clouds. The inside of this majestic castle is brightly lit. In the huge restaurant deep in the castle, the core members of the Bellamy pirates are dining here. But tonight was different from the past, there was no laughter or laughter. Instead, there was an extremely depressing atmosphere. There are just constant sounds of collisions of cutlery such as knives and forks. The faces of all the people present at the meal were very gloomy. Only after encountering an extremely serious failure will the people of this pirate group have such emotions. Bellamy sat at the end of the large rectangular dining table. Ah, oh, 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 oh. Bellamy didn't even cut a large piece of roast beef, but directly inserted it with a fork and stuffed it into her mouth. He had an expression like a dog in distress after running around on his face, and he just kept eating and drinking. He overeats like this to cover up and vent his negative emotions. Chili Yukalayu. Bellamy also stuck out his tongue, licking up the sauce and residue on the plate like a hyena. Eddie nearby had a dejected look on his face. He just slowly cut up a roasted squab and put it in his mouth to chew slowly. But when he ate, there was no emotion or expression of enjoyment. Now it's just to fill my stomach after being tired. Rebus opened his mouth wide, gulping down the bread and sausage. His left wrist was tightly bandaged, and now he can only use his right hand to pick up food and put it into his mouth. Sax also ate here, with Lily still beside him. The slender, beautiful girl was nestled against Sarkis' chest. But the two of them just ate and drank in silence, without the usual flirting. Also at the table was Mani. With a dull expression, she just kept drinking her drink. There was no sharp eyes and expression of a sniper in normal times. She still wonders in her heart why Sanji would save her as an enemy. The other senior members of the Bellamy pirates also kept eating and drinking, and no one wanted to say a word. However, the sumptuous dishes on the table today are still not as delicious as before, because the chef Zayuyit, who usually directs the chef, died in the battle. Bellamy, who was eating and drinking, looked at the people present, and he glanced at them with an ugly expression. "You guys are too quiet, don't you feel uncomfortable?" Bellamy said deliberately. Anyway, Bellamy's words broke the awkward atmosphere at the dinner table. "Ah, the sausage here is very rough grilled, not as delicious as usual." Rebus responded. "Oh, what a pity. Hood is gone, and without the command of the chef, the food we ate would be much worse." Sax said disappointedly. Rebus glared at Sakis and said, "Huh, you always sound so ugly whenever you speak." Sakis looked at Rebus and said, "If you are angry, don't take it out on others." Even in a conversation, both parties can only say such embarrassing words now. Mani now felt Bellamy's eyes on her. She reacted immediately. "Boss Bellamy, we were able to sink the giant offshore dock this time, which can be said to have destroyed the enemy's base. The enemy's losses were much greater than ours." Marnie said to Bellamy. "Okay, your comfort is justified. We have suffered losses, and the enemy has suffered greater losses. Isn't it?" Bellamy's face brightened a little. For Bellamy, in all fairness, although the Bellamy pirates lost their main warship in this battle, the giant sea dock of the Saruyama United Army was also sunk, and the opponent suffered huge losses. Eddie looked at Bellamy at this time and said, "Boss Bellamy. Now the enemy has lost the giant sea dock as a sea base. Then they will only be able to operate on the land of Gaia Island in the future. So in the future we have to fight with the enemy launches land operations." Bellamy nodded after hearing this and said, "Okay, we will fight them on land from now on. Now that the opponent has lost the giant sea dock, there is basically no need for the Bellamy pirates fleet to attack. Therefore, the main battlefield in the future will be transferred to land." Eddie added, "However, according to reports from our intelligence personnel in Magic Valley City, the guard force that went to encircle and suppress the Ape Mountain Alliance army suffered heavy losses and was defeated." After hearing this, Bellamy said, "Ah, I expected this too. It would be strange if the guard force's combat power could defeat them." Pirate Plant Fruit. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 668. You can search for Pirate Plant Fruit popular in Baidu to find the latest chapters. Bellamy was not optimistic about the subdued guards. As long as the guards followed the orders of the Bellamy pirates to fight. It doesn't matter if you win or not. Eddie added, "In view of winning over people's hearts, we'd better give some monetary rewards to the security forces." Bellamy picked up another goblet filled with brandy and said, "Okay, go ahead and do it." Eddie, as a senior staff member of the Bellamy Pirates, knows when to do what. In particular, he has mastered all the core industries of Grandet's forces, so that he can have a large amount of money and materials as resources that can be mobilized. During this dinner, Rebus ate and drank especially happily. Although this is all because he wanted to cover up the pain of losing his left hand, and did it deliberately. Bellamy's eyes were full of excitement and murderous will. He wants to hunt and kill the people of the Ape Mountain United Army like a sideburn dog again. This night, in a house in the urban area of Magic Valley City. Crowds of people kept walking down a tree stump leading underground in this house. This stump is the stump basement created by Rog using the power of plant fruit. By walking down the stump on the ground, you can reach the huge basement that extends underground. The members of the Saruyama United Army rested there. After all, it is quite dangerous to live directly in the urban area, and the forces of the Bellamy pirates may attack the Saruyama United Army at any time. Finally, including Rog and Sanji, they also went down to the underground tree stump basement. In the basement, the Straw Hat Pirates and the Saruyama United Army took a rest. This seemingly peaceful night is actually the tranquility before the cruel battle comes again in the future. It was dawn again. The bright sunlight shone in the urban area of Magic Valley City. Mont Blanc acted with the apes, orangutans, as well as Rog, Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy. Most of the members of the Saruyama United Army, as well as Usopp, Chopper, Nami, Robin, the King of Ninjas and the Goddess of Spring stayed in the city. The seven of Rog and Sauron are going to carry out assault operations together. In order to temporarily protect themselves, the seven people wore cloaks. The power of the Bellamy pirates has already infiltrated the city, so be cautious in your actions. Walking on the streets of Magic Valley City, the seven of them were always paying attention to the movements around them. The Saruyama United Army also had intelligence personnel in Demon Valley City. They figured out many things in Demon Valley City and informed Mont Blanc. The goal of the 7 people is very clear, which is to go to the eastern outskirts of the city of Magic Valley, where they will fight with the 5th Legion of the former security force, which is already under the orders of the Bellamy pirates. Of course, before arriving there, the 7 of them bought some food and supplies in restaurants and shops in the city. The last 7 people arrived at the eastern outskirts of Magic Valley City. Sure enough, the 5th Army Corps of the security force stationed here was found here. There are many trees in this generation area, and the 7 people used these trees as a cover to approach the 5th Army of Security Forces. Are these troops the 5th Legion of the Security Army? Roger looked at the large tent and said. The 5th Legion of the Public Security Army was stationed here and set up a large number of tents and built many simple wooden houses. These people actually raise a lot of elephants. Sanji was a little surprised to see that there were many elephants in the area where the 5th Army was stationed. There are so many rhinos. Luffy looked at the large number of rhinos in this area in surprise. It's really strange why they keep so many elephants and rhinos. Sauron looked at the elephant and rhino here strangely and said. Mont Blancolic said, the 5th Legion of the Security Army is a unit characterized by the use of land animals such as elephants and rhinos. They use these large land animals to conduct mobile operations. In other words, the 5th Army is considered a cavalry unit. But their mounts are these elephants and rhinos. It's surprising that they used elephants and rhinos as mounts. Sanji said in surprise. The 5th Legion of the Security Force is like this. They use large land creatures as mounts to fight. However, according to intelligence, after Grandet's death, this legion was quickly captured by Bellamy along with the rest of the security force. Subdued by the pirates. Mont Blanc said. But our opponents are them. Roger said. Yes, we just want to destroy them. Mont Blanc said. The 5th Legion of the Security Army is the target that the 7 people want to eliminate. But after all, the opponent was a legion of the security forces, with a total of 2,000 people, equipped with a large number of weapons and equipment, and powerful land creatures such as elephants and rhinos as mounts. After the 5th Legion was conquered by the Bellamy pirates, they also received a large amount of material and monetary rewards. Their fighting power is truly a powerful force. After observing the 5th Legion for a long time, the orangutan asked the others, how are we going to deal with them? There are quite a few enemies. After all, everyone is now facing a security army of up to people. To deal with so many people, no matter how powerful a single person is, his effectiveness is very limited. I have an idea. Roger said. Everyone else looked at Rog, waiting for Rog to explain further. Rog continued, this area is a suburb, and there are many plants. Here I can make full use of the power of the plant fruits to disrupt the enemy. We can all fight together. That's right, Rog, your ability is to manipulate plants. Luffy looked at Roger and said. Well, then it's up to you. Sanji said. Mont Blanc, the apes, and the orangutans are all aware of Rog's ability to transform and manipulate plants. Here, Rog can give full play to his own advantages. On Gaia Island, except for the beach area and the urban area of Magic Valley City, many other areas are covered by various plants. Rog can give full play to his plant fruit ability here. Rog looked at the camp of the 5th Army Corps of the Security Forces, and decided to take the lead in disrupting the enemy's deployment. It's up to you. Rog looked at a nearby thick tree and said. This thick tree is more than 10 meters high and can be transformed into a powerful plant weapon. Rog concentrated the power of the plant fruit in his body and mobilized it to the greatest extent. His hands gleamed green. Roger grabbed the thick tree with both hands. A large amount of plant fruit power is injected into this huge tree. Pirate plant fruit. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 669. You can search for Pirate Plant Fruit popular in Baidu to find the latest chapters. ROG is highly concentrated both in terms of will and physical strength. This huge tree began to change, its own branches and leaves began to fall off, and at the same time the trunk changed from being very hard to soft. At the top of the tree, the shape changes dramatically, just like a dragon's head. This huge tree became like a giant dragon. Okay, giant wood dragon. It's up to you. ROG looked at the transformed huge tree and said. The huge tree turned into a wooden dragon-like monster. Wow, that's cool. Luffy looked back and said. Well, you can always create these weird things. Sanji said to Roger. As expected of brother Roger. The orangutan sighed. Okay, let's use this to smash the enemy's camp. Roger said. Then ROG lowered the head of the giant wood dragon and jumped up by himself. Who else wants to come up? Roger said to the others. Hearing this, Luffy was the most excited. I want to go up. Luffy was the second to jump on top of the giant wood dragon's head. I'll go up too. Sanji said. Sanji also climbed up to the head of the giant wood dragon. It would be interesting to see a swordsman standing on top of a dragon. Sauron also jumped on the head of the giant wood dragon. What a strange creature, it must be fun to stand on. After Mont Blanc was initially shocked by the giant wood dragon, he was also very excited and jumped on the head of the giant wood dragon. I'll go up too, said the orangutan. How could it be without me? Said the ape. The two of them also went up to the head of the giant wood dragon. Including ROG, a total of 7 people stood together on the head of the giant wood dragon. The size of the giant wood dragon created by ROG with the power of plant fruit is far more than that, and it quickly pulled out a part of it from the soil. The giant wooden dragon itself is 20 meters long and looks like a giant wooden dragon. At this time, at the sentry post near the camp of the Fifth Army, the soldiers in charge of security saw the figure of the giant wood wandering dragon advancing here. What kind of monster is this? The soldiers said in horror. The giant wood dragon rushed quickly to the camp of the 5th Legion. Go ahead, let the giant wood dragon kill them. ROG, standing on top of the giant wood dragon, said while driving the giant wood dragon. Ow! The giant wood dragon roared, and its huge body moved quickly towards the camp of the 5th Army. Sirens blared in the 5th Army camp. The enemy is discovered, so people quickly enter combat status. The alarm phone bug quickly spread the sound through the loudspeaker throughout the entire 5th Army camp. At the camp of the 5th Army, a large number of officers and soldiers rushed out of the tents, holding guns and preparing to fight. There are also many people who go to the position of tethering elephants and rhinos, wanting to control these powerful mounts to meet the enemy. The position of the 5th Legion was in chaos, and anyone who saw such a wooden dragon would feel extremely frightened. What is this? Monster? Could it be a dragon? Looks like a monster transformed from a tree. The officers and soldiers of the 5th Army were shocked. However, many people reacted and quickly attacked the giant wood dragon with their weapons. Fire! Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Boom 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 boom. Machine gun bullets and field artillery shells fired at the giant wood dragon in a dense manner. The giant wood dragon's huge body was hit by bullets and cannonballs. This behemoth also trembled. ROG and the others standing on the head of the giant wooden dragon felt the huge wooden dragon trembling violently under their feet. Can this guy handle it? Sanji looked at the giant tree Yurio trembling violently under his feet and asked. If it can't withstand these blows, I don't think it'll stop fighting. ROG said with confidence. The giant wood dragon continued to advance, the bullets were basically ignored, and the field artillery shells caused some damage. Ow! The giant wooden dragon rushed into the 5th Army camp. The wooden dragon first waved its huge tail and swept towards the field artillery position in the camp. The officers and soldiers of the 5th Legion in the field artillery position saw the huge tail of the giant wood dragon sweeping towards them. Their faces were extremely terrified, but they could no longer escape. Dang 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 dang. Groups of field artillery were hit by the huge tail of the giant wood dragon and were sent flying. The gunners who operated the field guns flew across the body and were killed on the spot. More than field guns that were urgently integrated and more than gunners were directly eliminated. This is just the giant wood dragon using its huge tail to attack. On the head of the giant wood dragon, 7 people including Rog could clearly see the huge power of the giant wood dragon's attack. No, it's such a huge power. The orangutan said in shock. This is just the power of sweeping the huge tail. Mont Blanc said with a stern expression. Wow, that's so cool. Luffy said excitedly. Even Rog himself was shocked by the amazing attack power of the giant wood dragon. It's too powerful. Roger said in shock. However, it was the giant wood dragon's powerful combat power that made Rog and the others confident in annihilating the 5th Legion. While the giant wood dragon continued to move, Rog manipulated this behemoth to continue to attack the 5th Army. After destroying the field artillery position first, the giant wooden dragon rushed to the huge warehouse where the 5th Army used to store weapons. Ow! The giant wood dragon rushed towards the huge warehouse with its head suddenly, and it opened its huge mouth to bite towards the top of the huge warehouse. Boom! With a loud roar, the roof of the huge warehouse was destroyed by the giant wooden dragon. These wooden buildings are as easy to destroy as toys under the great strength of the giant wood dragon. In the huge warehouse for storing weapons, there are a large number of field guns, mortars, machine guns, and various weapons. Destroy all these weapons. Rog, standing on the head of the giant wood dragon, said. The giant wood dragon opened its huge mouth, bit the weapon inside and threw it out. Its huge body is also wantonly destroying this huge warehouse where weapons are stored. The officers and soldiers of the 5th Legion nearby ran away in fear, and they distanced themselves. Facing this behemoth, these officers and soldiers were scared away by death no matter how brave they were. No matter how brave a person is, he needs to weigh it in the face of meaningless death. Several hundred meters away from the giant wood dragon, the commander of the 5th Army, Drock, and his senior officers looked at the giant wood dragon that was wreaking havoc in the camp. Pirate Plant Fruit. Pirate Plant Fruit. Author, Lee A Dream. Chapter 670. You can search for Pirate Plant Fruit popular in Baidu to find the latest chapters. The expression on Commander Drock's face was almost distorted, and his face was constantly twitching. How could there be such a scary monster? The head of the Drocker army said in shock. A monster as huge as a dragon, it still looks like it was transformed from a tree. Anyone who sees this will be surprised. But in this situation, it is hard for people to think too much. Damn it, there's no other way. The head of the Drocker army decided to put all his eggs in one basket. Okay, quickly let the cavalry drive the elephants and rhinos to fight. The elephant troops and rhino troops quickly go up, said the head of the Drocker army. The surrounding senior officers received the order, and although they were afraid, they acted immediately. Obey. The senior officers rushed to carry out the order. The cavalry of the 5th Legion quickly rode the elephants and rhinos ready for battle. Herds of elephants and rhinoceroses have cavalry riding on their backs, putting these behemoths into action. Elephants and rhinos are not only driven by cavalry on their backs, but also equipped with machine guns and small artillery for combat. During the emergency, more than elephants and rhinos were thrown into the battle. There was a burst of loud noise on the ground, and these elephants and rhinos were driven by the cavalry of the 5th Legion and began to march towards the giant wood dragon. At this time, Rog, who was standing on the head of the giant wood dragon, saw a large number of elephants and rhinos rushing towards here. Elephants and rhinos. Rog looked at the elephants and rhinos driven by the cavalry of the 5th Legion strangely and said. Other people standing on the head of the giant wood dragon were also shocked when they saw these elephants and rhinos. What elephant? The orangutan said in shock. The rhinos are coming. The orangutan said in surprise. The 5th Legion is a force that uses large land creatures to fight. It seems that their attack is really powerful. Mont Blanc said. Roger looked at the attacking elephants and rhinos. Okay, let me see how much you guys are capable of. Roger said. Rog manipulated the giant wood dragon to face the rushing elephants and rhinos. Ow! The giant wood dragon roared violently. The behemoth swung its huge tail away and swept towards the charging elephant. Dong dong dong. The 3 elephants were hit by the tail of the giant wood dragon and flew out. In addition to attacking with its tail, the giant wood dragon also opened its mouth to bite these elephants. An elephant and the cavalry on it couldn't dodge, and was bitten by the giant wood dragon. Then the giant wood dragon picked up the elephant and threw it away violently. It's really powerful and destructive. The orangutan said in shock. Although the giant wood dragon just killed the 4 elephants and the soldiers on their backs, it has already aroused great fear in the 5th Army. The head of the 5th Legion, Drock, saw that his elephant troops rushed forward and suffered such a disastrous defeat, so he was also anxious. Elephant troops and rhino troops urgently retreat. Commander Drock ordered urgently. After receiving the order, the elephant troops and rhinoceros troops retreated quickly. The head of the Drocker army knew very well that if the battle continues like this, the elephant and rhino troops will all be wiped out. But even after fighting to the state, the head of the Drocker army still has a way to deal with the giant wood dragon. The burning rocket launcher troops are getting ready quickly. Commander Drake ordered. More than 25th Legion soldiers carrying shoulder-mounted rocket launchers quickly stood in a row and aimed at the giant wooden dragon. These soldiers are all elite soldiers directly under the headquarters of the 5th Army, and they can be regarded as a special combat force. Fire! With a wave of his hand, the head of the Drocker army gave an order to attack. Boom 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 boom. One after another rockets were fired from the shoulder-fired rocket launcher. More than 20 incendiary rockets hit the giant wooden dragon. Boom, 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 boom. A violent explosion sounded. There were bursts of violent explosions on the huge body of the giant wood dragon. In addition to the violent explosion, there were violent flames. Powerful flames scorched the giant wooden dragon. Rog and others who stood on the head of the giant wood dragon shook violently. At this time, Rog urgently manipulated the giant wood dragon to put everyone down. The giant wooden dragon put everyone on the ground aside. On the ground, Rog, Sanji, Zoro, Luffy and Mont Blanc quickly rolled down to the ground mountain. Hateful. Roger stood up hard. I saw that the giant wood dragon was completely wrapped in huge flames, and was burning in a raging fire. The behemoth, which was more than 20 meters long, was charred in the fire and then collapsed. Rogue can modify plants, and even make the modified plants more resistant to fire. But that required a staggering amount of power, so Rogue urgently created this giant wood dragon without excessively consuming his own plant fruit power. The giant wood dragon was burned by the flames, and was finally completely destroyed and turned into scorched trees. The leader of the Drake Legion and other officers and soldiers of the 5th Legion looked at the burning giant wood dragon. As expected of an incendiary rocket, it is easy to use, said the head of the Drocker army. These rockets contain special flammable chemicals inside, and they can continue to burn after hitting the giant wood dragon. The giant wooden dragon was turned into coke in the raging fire. Okay, let's let the elephant troops and rhinoceros troops attack, said the head of the Drocker army. After eliminating the threat of the giant wood dragon, the elephant troop and the rhinoceros troop were finally able to attack. The elephants and rhinos, under the control of the cavalry of the 5th Legion, began to attack Roger and Sanji. "Pay attention to the enemy and use light and heavy firepower to suppress," said a cavalry officer commanding the elephant unit. Dozens of elephants, harnessed by horsemen, advanced steadily. The machine guns and small cannons on the backs of these elephants are all aimed forward. However, after the elephant at the front reached the position where Rog and Sanji were just now, they found that there was no sign of any enemies here. Where have these guys gone? Just as the cavalry driving the elephant was wondering, suddenly a figure jumped quickly from nearby. "Spot the enemy." Shooting. The soldier on the front elephant's back, who was in charge of manipulating the machine gun, aimed at the figure and quickly fired bullets. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Dense bullets were fired at this fast-moving figure. This swiftly leaping figure is Sanji. Sanji's running plus jumping movement. Pirate plant fruit.